In this lecture, you're going to learn about a modern, secure way to let external workloads access Azure resources without storing secrets or managing credentials. It's called Workload Identity Federation, and it's changing how cloud-native apps authenticate across platforms. By the end of this session, you'll understand what it is, why it's useful, and how you can implement it. When you run apps outside of Azure, like in GitHub Actions, Google Cloud, or Amazon Web Services, but still need to access Azure resources securely, you usually have to register an app in Microsoft Entra ID and manage client secrets or certificates. But here's the challenge. Managing credentials is risky and annoying. Workload Identity Federation solves this by letting your external workloads exchange tokens from their own identity systems, like GitHub OIDC or AWS IAM, for Microsoft Entra tokens, without needing to store credentials in Azure. In simple terms, you're saying, "Hey Azure, trust this external identity provider. If it says this workload is legit, let it access my resources." Why should you use it? With Workload Identity Federation, you no longer need to worry about storing, rotating, or securing client secrets or certificates. Azure handles token exchange securely on your behalf, so you can focus on building and deploying without the overhead of credential management. If you're running workloads in platforms like GitHub, AWS, or Google Cloud, you can still allow them to access Azure resources securely. Federation enables seamless authentication across clouds, letting you integrate systems without compromising security or duplicating identity infrastructure. Instead of tying access to long-lived secrets or static credentials, you're linking it to trusted external identities. This means you can grant access to specific workloads based on who or what they are, not based on something they know, like a password or key. When you're automating CI/CD pipelines, Workload Identity Federation lets your workflows authenticate in real time using tokens. This reduces your exposure to credential leaks and makes your automation process far more secure and resilient. Ultimately, if you're automating deployments or working across cloud platforms, this approach gives you a more secure, scalable, and modern way to manage access, without the hassle of managing secrets. When you're setting up Workload Identity Federation in Azure, you have two main ways to add federated credentials. The method you choose depends on whether you're using a service principal or a user-assigned managed identity. You can add federated credentials directly from the Microsoft Entra Admin Center by registering an application that acts as a service principal. Once registered, go to the app's blade and open the Federated Credentials tab. There, you'll define trusted issuers, like GitHub, AWS, or Google, subject claims, and audience values. This method is ideal when you're integrating CI/CD pipelines or external apps, such as GitHub Actions, into Azure securely, without the need to manage secrets or client certificates. If you're working with a user-assigned managed identity, you'll use the Azure portal, Azure CLI, PowerShell, or the REST API to configure federation. This method is your go-to when you want a reusable identity that can operate across multiple services and environments, offering secure, secretless, token-based authentication that scales easily. By understanding these two methods, you can confidently choose the right identity type and integration path to securely connect external workloads to Azure, without ever relying on passwords or hard-coded secrets. So, what's your key takeaway? You can add federated credentials in Azure using two methods, through service principals via the Entra Admin Center or through user-assigned managed identities. Both approaches let you securely connect external workloads to Azure without storing secrets. Choose the one that best fits your identity model and automation needs.